Holding this today is 4/14/2025. Balance, patience, control. The number 4 has to deal with balance. We're going to keep it simple. I'm not going to even talk about the trap side or the contrarian side. 4 has to deal with balance. 4 is what you are boxed in. 14, when you talk about temperance, temperance is what you have become molded into. In a large sense, that has to deal with patience. When you become patient for what we believe in, we become patient for what we accept. 2025 is a 9. 9 has to deal with control. Like I told you last year, this whole year was going to show you need, necessity, and control. And I think we've been seeing it. People have been pretty much operating out of their need to control others or their need to exert dominance for themselves. See, that's something that I'm not going to go too deep into that. Sometimes it ain't about trying to show you that they can control you. It's about making sure that they still have that power. Not everything done to you is done in a malicious fashion. Sometimes you're just what's in the way. So real quick, we're going to talk about balance, patience, and control. What I was going through in my head before I hit the live button was I reverted back to my military format of when we used to teach our soldiers about weapons training. You have to control your breathing. You have to have a balance within your breathing. And then you have to be patient as you establish your sight picture with what you're getting ready to shoot or engage. And then you have to control your breathing all the way through your trigger squeeze. To me, life pretty much functions that same way. It really does. You got to look at what you're establishing balance with. You got to establish a balance with what your goal is. And you have to become patient for, is it realistic on me getting there? How long is it going to take me to get there? And more importantly, why am I going there? And then you make a decision, which is going to be basically the control. Think of control in that sense of, when you're doing an experiment, you have to have the control, that which is getting measured. Life is an experience. Life is an experiment. You are basically going through things, and the way you make your choices is going to show the control. So real quick, we'll just say, I was going to do the signs, but that's going to take too long. We'll just say collectively, because again, I'm telling you, you are all signs, you are all life paths, you are all formats and numerologies, you are all the angel numbers, you are all the I Ching, you are all whatever format comes out of your pie hole. Sorry, as long as you keep on establishing balance with yourself and separation, ta-da, you're going to become patient with being controlled by your separation. So you see how that works? Establish balance with your wholeness. So start looking at what's going on so that you can figure out whether you want to go through it. Too easy. Look at what's going on ahead of you and figure out whether you want to go through it instead of going through it and figuring out why you did it. See, that's an after action effect. So 4, balance. What is the balance? The balance doubles up. 4 becomes 8. 4 is the strength. 4, in the sense of balance, is what is going to require you. Remember, achiever. Remember I told you earlier, look at where you're trying to go and establish balance. Establish balance with where you're trying to go. That's going to require my strength. That's going to require me to conquer what I'm trying to know. What's going on, Pink? Wholeness to you all. So 4 is going to show you whatever you invest in becomes your reflection. 4 plus 4 becomes 8. It is going to become the struggle. The 14, the temperance card, what you get molded into is going to basically, like I said earlier, is going to become what you end up being patient with. What you believe in, you have patience for. What you don't believe in, you have patience for, even if it's impatience. There's a duality to all things. So that 14 is basically, what am I giving my energy? Can't make it up. But here's the deal. It's a 35 in reverse. This is my element of spirits. Fear. What's ruling over your spirit? Fear. What did you establish balance with? I established balance with fear. And if I can conquer fear, then I can be safe. 8 becomes a trauma. So before we can even get to 2025, the 9, the control, you've already been controlled by what you already attached to. I have a balance with fear And I'm trying to patiently get out of fear by going into fear to show fear that I can conquer it. That goes into what I said earlier about sometimes when people are trying to control you, it ain't about you, it's more about them. It's that ineptitude within themselves that need to dominate somebody else to make sure that they still have that ability to do it. So getting into, like I said, you hit an 88 function here, your core traumas. Woo, core traumas. Sorry. The 88s, your core traumas. These are your deeper rooted thought processes. Long story short, it's why you think the way you think. A lot of y'all have fooled yourself into thinking that I think the way I think because this is what I am. This is what you've allowed yourself to become. Here's your 88. This is what you've allowed yourself to become. Oops, I can't make it up. You one of them eights. You're going to be one of them eights. You're either going to be that one who is going to be strong enough to get through the challenge, or you're going to be that other eight that's going to fall prey to their fears. The problem is you ain't got to do either. Remember I told you when you're having an experiment, something needs to be the control. Why are you in the experiment? The core trauma is the ill use of ions, a bad use of energies. 18, what I tell you, 18 is 9. 9 is control. You become the control because now you emotionally invest into a bad use of energies. Trying to conquer fear by going into fear, you can lie to yourself and say that you can do it. You can lie to yourself all day long and say that I can conquer my fear by going into the fear. You now become fear's ruler. You still in the system of fear. You got to think deeper. Or you can keep going through the same cyclic bullshit that y'all get caught in and then wondering why. This is why. This is your 88. This is your core trauma. Illusion. Shit you keep investing in. It's going to still show you one of them eights. And one of them eights is going to show you, the control. The control. Another fucking 8. You starring in your own plentifulness. 1 + 7, 8. 1, my potential of who I am is going to be based in the core trauma of potentially what I'm struggling with, because the thought is going to tell me to move into the fear so that I can conquer it. So where you have found balance by becoming patient with what you're trying to control, the problem is sometimes it's controlling you. The problem is you trying to control something else by thinking that you are dominating it by trying to find a way to flow through it. That was all it wanted. Think about it. A child, just real quick. A child only wants to star in whatever gets it the most amount of energy. Negative attention, positive attention. Them first two words don't fucking equate. Don't nobody give a shit about negative or positive. When you talk about children, they just want the attention. Your energy, as it is shown out here in this disconnected collective, just wants use. It just wants you to show up and star in the opportunity to separate yourself so that you can try and find a way to put yourself together. That plays out in everything in life. People want to take you through something, or people want you to invest in them. And if it helps you hold yourself together, good. If it pulls you apart, sorry, par for the course. So the whole problem is balance is an 8. Your patience is an 8. Your control is an 8. Remember I told you the 8 in the sense of it being a balance. Balance was the trap. Trying to connect to something that is not already going to show you means you got to become it, or you're going to have to learn how to conquer it to make it fit you. The whole problem was if you was fine on your own, you wouldn't require anything else. So the whole problem is internal. The whole problem is that fucking 8. That 8 has all the potential. And if the 8 has all the potential, what do you have for yourself? Oops. A bunch of deceit. A bunch of deceit. You don't see yourself, Oshun. You don't see yourself in the whole fashion, you already see yourself as not enough. And that is the grand deceit. That plays out in everybody's lives, where somebody tells you you can't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't believe in this, and that's right, and this is wrong. At the end of the day, if you know what you're investing in is really what works for you, use it. Really. That goes down to religions, traditions, the occult, your sexual orientations, your gender assignments, all that bullshit. That goes into anything. If what you are giving your energy to works for you, use it. The problem is, you're going to have to let your life tell your tale. If it's only working for you to the point to where it's not pulling you apart and it's helping you hold yourself together, that whole terminology. You shouldn't have to hold yourself together. You should just learn to be. You should not have to have this struggle mindset that you have to go through something in order to be safe enough to be yourself. That's already a clear field of danger. So as I said at the beginning, balance is the trap. Try wholeness. Balance is a point of connectivity with at least 2 points. Be you. And then you don't need to connect to anything else that does not bear your reflection and is not communicating with you in a form of perfection, for lack of a better word. So too many people out here are communicating with their traumas, and it's a bad use of energy. I just hope it don't pull you apart any further. Oops. Wholeness. Let your life